Hey, hey, hey. Howdy do, you guys. Let me see what I can do here. Just the scene. Oop, Lord. I was out here. It's rained this morning, and I was playing around in my aquarium. It was just light rain, but I don't let it stop me. But, anyways, boy, the rain can be hell on plants. I know it makes them feel really good, too, but man, it's like they got beat up. Well, I've just finished cleaning everything up, and today's an art class day. This evening it is, so making up some time to prepare for my show and prepare the place for paintings. I've got lots and lots of paintings to do, and I'll be painting all the time. So while I'm, cleaning up, I'm listening to the teachings of Buddha. All right. And I'm not going to bring nothing up unless it has something to do with the code. And of course, when it comes down to one world religion, this idea that, the whole outside world uh, doesn't necessarily understand these Buddhist teachings or that of the Tao, or really even their own scripture themselves, regardless of what religion they are in, learning that what's on the inside is what counts, you know. And so, that pun intended, we're going to go down. We're going to listen to a little piece of, I've been listening. I've actually gone over this like about 4 or 5 times in my time because I always I put this in my mind. And, the number one is talking about God. All right. And we have found that, God and the Tao, when they talk about Tao, they don't know anything about it. It's undefinable. But in this one, in the Buddhist readings, it's pretty much talking about you. It's talking about the person who's enlightened, the person who goes about this trouble, the person that you can put about his desires, that person that can sit still. That was all about number one. And number two was talking about, the person that does this. The person that does this is what's going to happen. This is the kind of thing. So number three is coming up. And three is going to be talking about the mind and how we go about bridling it. This idea of joining together, just what we've talked about. And I wanted you to hear this with your own ears, okay? But anyways, I'm skipping over one. We've got a little bit of two, and then three. All right. And if you dare to go on your own to go into four, four is about worlds, and you'll hear the word world many times. It's just mind boggling and eye opening. Okay. Remember, underneath all these faiths now, except for Islam, is this beautiful code, and this code talk is this idea of planting the seed correctly and the law. And not very many people go this route. All right. It even says in here, very few go to heaven. And if you read up to six, they call the six, is the sixth chakra, right? That's that borderline where the water is, you're just on the other side of this. This is where St. Christopher hangs out, in this little house, and he ferries people across that river. He doesn't ever go there, but he takes people there until the end when he takes the cross. But this idea is that many people don't go across this way, and a lot of people run up and down the side. It's just the coolest stuff, you guys, and it shows this. Go and listen to this yourselves. You tell me what you think about this idea of this worldwide religion using this code. It's pretty cool stuff. What a discovery. And it certainly takes it out again from anybody's perspective or opinion. All right? It's a discovery. It exists. You maybe can't see it, but yeah, once you know what to look for, you can point it out. But perhaps the reason why, nobody's really knocking us is because if they're hearing the word and they ain't supposed to, all they're getting is the wah-wah pedal, right? So, anyways, but this here's on me like stink on shit if I sing a song, right? If I sing some stupid song, some silly song. But anyways, let's take this down for just a moment. We're going to turn on the Buddha, wisdom teachings of the Buddha, and it's called the Dhammapada. Damn.
Advanced in earnestness, having understood this clearly, delight in earnestness,
This is number 2.
and rejoice in the knowledge of the Aryas, the elect. 23. These wise people, meditative, steady,
They're talking about the people that
always
would be doing
possessed of
this.
strong powers, attain to nirvana, the highest happiness. 24. If an earnest person has roused himself, if he is not forgetful,
Raised himself.
if his deeds are pure, if he acts with consideration, if he restrains himself and lives according to law, then his glory will increase. 25.
Increase.
By rousing himself,
Everything's about
by
you gain,
earnestness, by restraint
control
and
over.
control,
Increase.
the wise man may make for himself an island which
That's
no
what
flood
Abraham
can
means.
overwhelm.
He who increases.
26. Fools follow after vanity, men of evil wisdom. The wise man keeps earnestness as his best jewel. 27. Follow not after vanity, nor after the enjoyment of love and lust. He who is earnest and meditative obtains ample joy.
So it's really talking to the
28.
person.
When the learned man drives away vanity by earnestness, he, the wise, climbing the terraced heights of wisdom, looks down upon the fools. Serene he looks upon the toiling crowd, as one that stands on a mountain looks down upon them that stands upon the plain. 29. Earnest among the thoughtless, awake among the sleepers, the wise man advances like a razor, leaving behind the hack. 30. By earnestness did Madhavan, Indira, rise to the lordship of the gods. People praise earnestness. Thoughtlessness is always blamed. 31. A bhikshu, mendicant, who delights in earnestness, who looks with fear on thoughtlessness, moves about like fire, burning all his fetters, small or large. 32. A bhikshu, mendicant, who delights in reflection, who looks with fear on thoughtlessness, cannot fall away from his perfect state. He is close upon nirvana. End of chapter 2.
In the chapter 2.
Recording by Jyoti Taravana.
Now remember what to listen for in 3 when we're all joined together. What happens?
Chapter 3 of Dhammapada. Translated by Max Muller. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Jyoti Taravana. Chapter 3. Thought. 33. As a fletcher makes straight his arrow, a wise man makes straight his trembling and unsteady thought, which is difficult to guard, difficult to hold back. 34. As a fish taken from his watery home and thrown on dry ground, our thought trembles all over in order to escape the dominion of Mara, the temper. 35. It is good to tame the mind, which is difficult to hold in, and flighty, rushing wherever it listeth. A tamed mind brings happiness. 36. Let the wise man guard his thoughts, for they are difficult to perceive, very artful, and they rush wherever they list. Thoughts well guarded bring happiness. 37. Those who bridle their mind, which travels far, moves about alone, is without a body, and hides in the chamber of the heart, will be free from the bonds of Mara, the temper.
Mara.
38.
Mara is the
If a
devil.
man's thoughts are unsteady, if he does not know the true law, if his peace of mind is troubled, his knowledge will never be perfect. 39. If a man's thoughts are not dissipated, if his mind is not perplexed, if he has ceased to think of good or evil, then there is no fear for him while he is watchful. 40. Knowing that this body is fragile like a jar, and making this thought firm like a fortress, one should attack Mara, the temper, with the weapon of knowledge. One should watch him when conquered, and should never rest. 41. Before long, alas, this body will lie on the earth, despised, without understanding, like a useless log. 42.
That's our body.
Whatever a hater may do to a hater, or an enemy to an enemy, a wrongly directed mind will do us greater mischief. 43. Not a mother, not a father will do so much, nor any other relative. A well-directed mind will do us greater service. End of chapter 3. Recording
That was pretty cool
by
stuff
Jyoti Taravanath.
about the mind being taken, having some kind of control over it.
Chapter 4 of Dhammapada,
Dhammapada.
translated by Max
We're just going to
Muller.
listen to this for a minute.
This
I want you to hear
LibriVox
that there's
recording is in the public domain. Recording by
4 is
Jyoti
talking about
Taravanath.
worlds and traveling and stuff like that.
Chapter 4,
Kingdoms.
Flowers. 44. Who shall overcome this earth, and the world of Yama, the lord of the departed, and the world of the gods? Who shall find out the plainly shown path of virtue, as a clever man finds out the right flower? 45. The disciple will overcome the earth,
The
and
earth.
the world of Yama, and the world of the gods. The disciple will find out the plainly shown path of virtue, as a clever man finds out the right flower. 46.
Find the right flower.
He who knows that this body is like froth, and has learnt that it is as unsubstantial as a mirage, will break the flower-pointed arrow of Mara, and never see the king of death. 47. Death carries off a man who is gathering flowers, and whose mind is distracted, as a flood carries off a sleeping village.
That's what we do. That's you and me.
48. Death subdues a man who is gathering flowers, and whose mind is distracted, before he is satiated in his pleasures. 49. As the bee collects nectar and departs without injuring the flower, or its color or scent, so let a sage dwell in his village. 50. Not the perversities of others, not their sins of commission or omission, but His own misdeeds and negligencies should a sage take notice of. 51. Like a beautiful flower, full of color, but without scent, are the fine but fruitless words of him who does not act accordingly. 52. But like a beautiful flower, full of color and full of scent, are the fine and fruitful words of him who acts accordingly.
Him who acts accordingly.
53. As many kinds of wreaths can be made from a heap of flowers, so many good things may be achieved by a mortal when once he is born. 54. The scent of flowers does not travel against the wind, nor that of sandalwood or of tagara and mallika flowers. But the odor of good people travels even against the wind. A good man pervades every place.
All right, I've had enough. We don't want to go any further than that. You can do it on your own while you're out there cleaning up your house and stuff like that. It's just really, 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 really cool stuff. Where are you guys at? I say you guys, but it's really me. But since there's minions and lots of me, here I am. So I just thought you guys would like to, a little taste of Buddhism and the code. And if you understand the idea, if you could hear that and listen to it, you're well above most other people. It will go on for hours, maybe like almost 3 hours, and you just keep listening to the number system as you go. 5 is going to start talking about the body, and it talks about how to be wicked and all this. Now it's unworthy and all these things, but it also talks about, but this, when this is connected, works out pretty good. So 4, this idea of the flowers shows up. This is this idea of traveling, whenever they're going from one place to another, going from one church to another. This is traveling. This is making straight the way, and the law, all right, trying to obtain the law. And this connection with the spiritual side of the Bible is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Hope you guys understand all of this. This is where Jesus gets the idea of baptism from. All right, this teachings, that is being dunked into the water, washing your feet. This idea, of actually going into meditation, shutting off from the mind, shutting the self off so that you can go over to this other side, and then your mind is bridled. How much clearer can this be? It's so beautiful, you guys. So anyways, lend an ear, take a little bit of time off to understand that you guys have been welcomed into the world that very, very few people are ever welcomed into or have been. And I would love to know if you've made it, I would really do. If half of you guys are just gawkers, any guys, observing the way, anybody walking the walk, or observing the law and walking the way, But anyways, going like that, lined up in there, it's what was meant to do, and and then start teaching it. Chat with you soon. Love y'all.